Hi friends, welcome to Raising Lifelong Learners. I'm your host, Colleen Kessler, and this is the podcast where I encourage you to trust yourself and your differently wired kiddos as you help cultivate their curiosity, encourage them to discover the world around them, embrace who they are wired to be, all while helping them discover their passions, interests, and raise them to become the amazing adults they're meant to be. Hey, welcome back. This is episode 231. I'm so glad you are here. We are talking about play this week, and in a different way. We're going to be talking about play as it relates to older kids and teens. And you're going to love this. There's so many actionable things within this, gold nuggets within this episode, and you're going to want to take notes. Plus, I want to hear what you have to say after you listen to it. What kinds of things do you do to help engage your older kids in play, and how has it helped your relationship? I'd love to know that too. Okay, special shout out to CTC Math, our sponsor. They're fabulous. We love them so much. You'll hear a little bit more about them later on in the episode. But I also want to leave you here with this word from our current sponsor, Night Zookeeper. And we'll get right on with today's episode after this word about our sponsor. Okay, are you looking for something to kind of shake up what you're doing for language arts? Night Zookeeper just might be the answer for you. We have used Night Zookeeper in the past, but we're back in it this year with my youngest, Isaac. He is just about to start jumping in again, and I'm excited to be able to share on social media some of the things that he's doing with it. But Night Zookeeper is a game-changing language arts program that takes the stress out of teaching because it's fun, it's engaging. Your kiddo is gonna love it because it's different than other things. It teaches your child spelling, grammar, punctuation, vocabulary, reading, and writing through a pre-planned language arts curriculum that your kiddo can use independently. I love this because a program like Night Zookeeper frees me up to do one-on-one help with another kiddo while one is doing Night Zookeeper independently. And then, so when Isaac's doing this, he can jump in, he can learn, he can write, he can engage with the word games and the interactive video lessons and the cool, fun, inspiring writing prompts. And then, if he gets stuck or he wants to share something with me, he can pause and come get me and I can go help him, but I don't have to sit there and do it all from start to finish. And let me tell you, having some of those kinds of programs in your back pocket when you are a crazy busy mom of gifted, twice exceptional, and otherwise neurodivergent kiddos is a game changer because you can take it on the go, you can bring your tablet with you, your kiddos can access it from the computer in the family room or the laptop on the go or their Chromebook or whatever. And okay, so here's something super cool. Your kiddo is going to get written feedback on their writing from real tutors. So if they need support or they need to be working on something or they need to add some more describing words or they're messing up their punctuation, you don't have to be the bad guy. I know I'm the bad guy often in my house when I'm trying to get my kids to understand a certain concept. And here you have real tutors at your disposal helping you by assessing and taking a look at your kiddos' writing and giving them feedback. Thousands and thousands of homeschool parents have found success using Night Zookeeper to transform their children's attitude towards language art and writing in particular, and you're gonna love it. It's perfect for ages 6 to 12. If you've got an advanced kiddo, you could start them earlier on it. If you've got a kiddo who needs a little bit more support with their reading, writing, vocabulary, or other language arts skills, you can let them jump back into it or stick with it a little bit longer. However you need to use the program, you've got this. Okay, so if you're ready to say goodbye to the stress of teaching language arts, give Night Zookeeper a try. Just head on over to rll.bz/Night Zookeeper, rll.bz/Night Zookeeper, all lowercase letters, and you can get a 7-day free trial and 50% off an annual subscription. You cannot beat that. If you can't remember that link, rll.bz/Night Zookeeper, you can also head over to the show notes for this episode and find the link there. All right, are you ready? Let's get on with today's episode. Okay, so today we're going to talk about play. Now, I've talked about play before on this podcast, mostly focusing on play when it comes to younger kids and learning through play and things like that. I want to specifically focus today on the importance of play with older kids and teens. So often we forget about how important learning through play is and just play as a social construct. When our kids get older, we expect them to be productive all the time and moving towards, their future goals, and everything gets so serious. And I know as homeschooling parents, we face this all the time. You see it in Facebook group after Facebook group, or Instagram thread, or TikTok, or whatever. Wherever you're looking for support when it comes to homeschooling your kids, people start to stress when their kids get into middle school and into high school, because all of the sudden it feels like everything needs to count more, and it needs to count in a way where it can be quantified in a subject area or a point or points on the transcript. And we forget that play is important all the way through life. And so we're going to talk today about that, why play is important as kids. So let's just start with bashing some myths about play for older kids. So the first kind of myth is that play is only for young children. And the misconception that goes along with that is that play is associated with early childhood often. And as children age, there's this belief that they no longer benefit from play. We think about, sitting on the floor with toys, or throwing a ball back and forth, or, climbing the jungle gym. And so once they get through those stages, we often think that there's just no real value in kids continuing to play as they get older. But the reality is that play remains crucial for cognitive, emotional, and social development all the way through adolescence. There's different kinds of play, but still, we want our kids to be balanced. We want our kids to know how to let go. I mean, think about it. I've talked before about us being the only example for our kids of what a healthy adulthood looks like. And we want our kids to see us engaging in play and engaging with them as well, because we want our kids to grow to be adults who play with their own children. We want our sons to be husbands and fathers who throw a ball in the backyard, or shoot some hoops, or go for a walk on the weekend, or hike. And so play is crucial when kids are teens, so they don't feel like it's something that they've outgrown. And then in turn, it helps with cognitive, emotional, and social development. Kids are interacting together. They are growing in emotional regulation because they're learning to deal with disappointment. And they're interacting with one another and forming opinions and acting on them, and thinking critically about different things as they go. So there's lots and lots of benefits to play as they get older. Another myth is that academic focus is more important for older kids. And the misconception is that as kids enter middle and high school, they need to shift towards more of an academically focused mindset with less emphasis on recreational activities and leisure time. And the reality is that play contributes to improved problem-solving skills, creativity, and critical thinking, and actually can enhance academic performance. We see it time and time again when our high schoolers engage in extracurricular clubs and sporting events and theater and band, and they're riffing on, with music, or doing monologues and improv with one another, or shooting some baskets after school. They are learning to solve problems. How do I get everything done and manage my time effectively so I can still do the things that I love to do? They're working on creativity. How can I take this arrangement of music and make it different or better? One of my kids was talking to me about a piece of music that we heard in a musical that we just went to, and was saying that her and a friend disliked the arrangement of this particular song, and they have been playing with a rearrangement of it. And now they're casting it so they can have their friends sing it and act it out. and see if they could make it better than it was in the show that they saw. That's a fabulous way to play. It's very creative. They're thinking critically about the changes they're making and why they improve the movement of the action in the show. And this leads to academic performance because when you're playing with words and music and arrangements and cause and effect and storytelling, you're going to become a better storyteller, a better interpreter of cause and effect, a better critical thinker, a more creative and innovative contributor to what it is you're trying to accomplish in your academics. Another myth is that as kids get older, technology replaces traditional play. And the misconception is that the prevalence of technology might lead to the belief that traditional forms of play are no longer relevant or necessary. But in reality, while technology has its place, hands-on, physical, and imaginative play remains essential for well-rounded development. Just like that example I just gave about my kiddo and their friends playing around with music and improvising and rearranging parts, that's a form of imaginative play that grows them into more well-rounded individuals. And yes, those kids, those teens still play video games. In fact, they connect regularly online to play together while FaceTiming one another. And there is a place for that, but there's also a place for just hanging out, making changes to things, or playing with words, or playing board games and things like that. All right, another myth is that play is not productive. And the misconception when it comes to this idea is that many people view play as unproductive and a waste of time, especially when they compare it to structured activities or homework. But the reality is that play enhances a variety of skills, including teamwork, communication, and emotional regulation. It contributes to overall personal development. And I'd go further and say that it contributes to emotional well-being. People who play around and communicate with their friends or colleagues in this unique way without being focused on being productive and structured all the time will grow to be innovators. They'll be the entrepreneurs of the future, the people who make changes, develop cures for diseases, or inventions that solve problems. And so we want them to be able to play and mess around with things. I did a talk at a homeschool convention a couple years ago, and I started out by showing a video of robots dancing, and went in to discuss some of the scientists and engineers who worked on that project's take on the project itself. One of the engineers who worked on it was quoted as saying, along the lines, I don't have the quote directly in front of me, but a paraphrase was that the engineers and technologists and scientists who worked on this project were basically thrown in a room and told to play around with these robots and get them to be as lifelike as possible. And so they brought music in and they worked on programming until these robots developed, or they developed through the programming, very human-like movements in these robots. And that was all through open-ended play and teamwork and collaboration and communication with one another, which led to this passion project that also led to other innovations in the world and the company that they were working within. So I'll link to that video in the show notes so you can take a look at it. But it's very cool, and I love showing kids that in particular, because who wouldn't want to play for a living? Another myth is that teens don't want to play with parents. And the misconception is here that as kids become teenagers, one might assume that they no longer want to engage in conversation or play with their parents, when in reality, preferences might change, but many, if not most, teens value and benefit from shared recreational activities with their parents, especially if parents make a point to make this part of the family culture. I think too often we lean into the rhetoric that the teen years are impossibly hard and our teens don't want us around and are pushing us away as quickly as they possibly can. And while there is a different level of hardness to the teen years. I don't think teens inherently don't want anything to do with us as parents. And if we've cultivated a healthy, strong, and collaborative, mutually respectful relationship with our kids from the time they were young, they will grow into teens that want to spend time with us. And that includes playing games. That includes messing around with singing or karaoke or whatever. It just looks a little bit different. It actually looks a lot different. It might mean we're having conversations super late at night. It might mean that we don't talk to them a lot on a given day because they're wrapped up in something that one of their friends is going through or want to talk to their friends about something that they're going through. And that's okay. But while preferences change, teens are still who they were as kids. They're just a more grown-up version, and they're trying to figure out who they are. And when you show them mutual respect and you show them that you want to spend time with them, you will be raising teens that want to spend time with you as well. Again, the teen years change the relationship, but I don't think that they obliterate it. And I think that we can safeguard against that obliteration of a relationship through the teen years by being mutually beneficial and by finding things our teens want to do and leaning in with them. I remember 2 years ago at the time of this recording when a couple of my kids were sick on New Year's Eve, and my oldest, who I think he was 18, 19 at the time, had plans with friends. So he went to a party, and my 2 middle kids, my girls, were sick, so we weren't going anywhere. And my youngest wanted to stay with us, and my husband went to his cousin's house. I just sat around the couch with my sick kids and my younger one, my 9-year-old at the time, and we watched New Year's Rockin' Eve, and we had fun snacks, and we chatted with each other. And then my oldest wanted to do some of the TikTok trends that moms and daughters did. One of them I remember being mom walking by and then a transition happening and then mom walking by again in the same kind of way, but in her daughter's clothes this time. So she asked if I would record that for her with her, and I said sure. She had so much fun recording that and still keeps it on her camera roll. And it was literally me walking across the room in a dancey kind of fun way in my own clothes and then changing into the clothes she styled me into and with the hairstyle she made. That's play. It's different, right? The preferences have changed, but the play and the fun is still there, which then builds relationships. Okay, last myth I kind of want to talk about is that play is incompatible with seriousness and serious topics. And the misconception there is that play is perceived as not able to address serious issues or discussions like mental health or academic challenges, when in fact play can be therapeutic. It can be an effective way to approach and navigate serious topics and provide a comfortable space for communication. Playing a board game, going for a hike, going rock climbing, shooting baskets, doing dances, all of that is playful and can lower the shields so that your kids are more open to talk about things they're struggling with because they recognize that you are a comfortable and safe space for them, and they feel more able to open up because you're supportive and you acknowledge that they still are kids and have needs. Besides these feelings of connection and emotional support that you're able to give your kids through play and through allowing them to continue to explore their world and their life through this kind of open-ended exploration and playfulness, there are very specific benefits, specifically some cognitive and emotional and social benefits of play during adolescence, during our tween and our teen years, and really even into young adulthood. Play encourages older kids and teens to think critically and creatively. This fosters a deeper development of problem-solving skills. Whether your kids are engaging in strategic games or imaginative play, teens learn to navigate challenges and find solutions through play. This is hugely beneficial cognitively. So it develops problem-solving skills. Another cognitive benefit to encouraging play throughout the teen years is that it enhances memory and learning. When our kids engage in various forms of play, like educational games or like I was talking about earlier with the playfulness with the music, it stimulates the brain, enhancing their memory and their cognitive function. It provides a context for learning that's more engaging and memorable for them. And so when we encourage that, we're helping them develop their memory and their learning skills so that when they go off to higher education, whether that's college or trade school or entrepreneurship, they have a better sense of cognitive function. They also develop executive function skills. We've talked a lot about executive function skills on this podcast and on the website. Play involves planning, organizing, decision-making. These are all essential components of executive function skills. They contribute to better self-regulation, goal setting, planning, setting goals and reaching them. So not just saying what they want to do, but how am I going to get there? And so the more they play around with the organizing and the decision-making, the more they're able to apply that to their everyday life. Another cognitive skill that is benefited through play is creativity and innovation. Just like I talked about with those scientists who were playing with robots and developing ways to program them so they looked more human-like, creativity and innovation is cultivated through play. It creates a positive, creative mindset, which allows our kids, our teens, to explore new ideas, perspectives, possibilities. And this creativity extends beyond playtime. It influences problem solving and innovation in various aspects of life. If our kids feel free enough and creative enough to play around with music from a published and touring musical with their friends and enjoy the process, they may be the ones who develop the next series of musicals and become the next playwrights, the next composers. And so we don't know what this playfulness will lead to. And so we want to make sure that we encourage it. Some of the emotional benefits to play throughout the teen years and adolescence is that it reduces stress. Play provides a natural outlet for stress relief. Whether it's engaging in physical activities or creative pursuits, play helps adolescents manage their stress. It promotes emotional well-being. One of my kids, when they're feeling stressed or overwhelmed, goes out to the swing set and swings. This is an older child who enjoys the rhythmic and the physical exertion of pumping their legs and reaching high and being out of doors. Several of my kids write scripts and act them out or joke around and play with music with friends when they come over, or do karaoke, play board games. This is very stress relieving for them, and it's a great way and a healthy way to reduce stress. Along with the reduction of stress, when our teens are allowed to and allow themselves more free time to play, they learn to regulate their emotions. Hey there. Okay, so I've been talking about CTC math for years now, and there are very good reasons for that. First of all, they're so supportive of all the different things that homeschoolers do and need in order to be successful, and it's just a really great program. It is adaptable, and you get access to all the different grade levels at a time. There is a money-back guarantee. Like, how can you pass that up? How many curriculum companies out there give you a money-back guarantee? If the program is not working for your kids, you can reach out to them. They will help you out, try to figure out and troubleshoot what needs to be done to help your kiddos be successful. And if it's still not working, they will give you your money back. On top of that amazing guarantee, you have access to all the math grade levels from K to 12. So we're talking all the way through calculus, and so your kids can progress at the rate they need to progress at. So if your kids are super mathy and want to complete a couple grade levels in a year so they can get ahead and do some more specialized mathematics maybe in their high school years because they want to give themselves a leg up as they're getting ready for college, or if they're a little bit slower in math and they want to take some more time, they can take a year and a half to 2 years to do a grade level, whatever you need to do. Or even if you have switched programs to CTC, you can go back and just tackle the the areas, the lessons where maybe there was a gap that your kids need to be updated in so that they can be more successful and move forward. You have access to all of it, so you can fully customize your kids' math experience. It's fantastic. For our family, we've got a couple kids using it right now. One of them likes to do math in a more methodical, kind of day by day, 7 days a week approach. And that particular child does one lesson a day, 7 days a week, and moves forward kind of slowly. And then if there's a lesson that they don't get, they bounce back and they do that lesson again and again until they reach mastery, and then they move on to the next lesson. And that works for that particular kid. I've got one kiddo who loves math and loves the idea of being ahead of grade level. And so that particular kid does the minimum of 2 lessons, 5 days a week, and often still does 2 lessons a day on the weekends. So we're talking 10 to 14 lessons of math a week for this particular kiddo, because this kid's goal is to whip through math as quickly as possible so they can say they were ahead of traditionally schooled kids in the school district where my husband teaches, which I just think is a crack up. I'm not the only one though. I get emails all the time from listeners just like you who have tried CTC Math because they've heard about it on the podcast or read about it in one of my newsletters, and they just wanted to let me know that it was working for them. Like this email that I got from Rachel. Hi Colleen, my son was really struggling with math until I tried out CTC. He is doing phenomenally right now after just a few months. I love the program and he loves it too. He feels confident and is all geared up and ready to go, even through the summer. I do the weekly revisions, and I was wondering if... I appreciate you and this resource you shared. Thank you so much. Keep up the great work. Well, Rachel, you keep up the great work too, because this is a testament to how adaptable and easygoing CTC is. Kids coming from different programs can jump right in and be successful, and even are motivated to keep going through the summer with their math. All right. Check them out if you haven't had a chance to already, ctcmath.com. If you have any questions, reach through their customer support or email me and let me know that you have a question, and I'll see if I can help you get the answer to it. Let's get back to today's episode. Teens struggle emotionally. I mean, my gosh, they've got so many things coming at them from so many different directions. Think about it. They are never without the bombardment of everything that's going wrong in their life. And when they are able to let go and just play, they can express a range of emotions in a controlled environment. They can cope with challenges more effectively, develop a range of emotional regulation skills, and learn to navigate the ups and downs. No matter how much we shield our teens and tweens from all of the stuff out there in the world, right? The social media and the constant bombardment of information and unattainable ideals, they're still getting some of it. I know my kids are friends with a lot of people from different walks of life. When they were younger, when all of them were younger, and I got to choose where we went and what we did, I planned things with other homeschooling families because I wanted to do things during the day with mixed groups of ages. I wanted to make sure that we were getting out, not just sitting at home. I am an introvert. I know that's crazy to think about because I speak publicly, I have a podcast, and I love, talking about these things with people, but I recharge by retreating into my own world, and there's nothing I like better than sitting in front of my fire with an audiobook or a book or my kids in a movie. And so we would just stay home all the time if it was totally up to me. And so I made sure that we got out several times a week, if not at least once a day. And these times were filled with other homeschoolers who were like us, which was great. We developed so many great relationships, so many incredible relationships that, we still have today. And my kids are involved in other activities. My daughter is actively involved in theater with a private school. because it's an all-boys private school and they recruit girls from around the state. And so she is part of that program and loves it. But she's with school kids all the time now. And there are different values. Now, some of these kids share the exact same values that we do, and some of them don't. And she's able to navigate that because of the playfulness that we allow in other ways. We can't shield our kids from all exposure to all different things. And so we want them to have a strong foundation of emotional regulation and resilience so that they can kind of take in anything that comes their way and navigate it well. And when they're doing we're going to talk about different types of games and activities and play that we can help our kids engage with. But one of those is role-playing games. One of my kids does role-playing where they're kind of creating stories with a group, and they go through all sorts of emotional stuff with their avatars or their characters. And so by playing through the different scenarios, dating and breakups and different things through the characters, they're able to learn how to navigate those emotions more effectively. Also, our kids build resilience. I've talked about this before. I just mentioned it a few sentences back. But facing challenges and setbacks in play situations helps teens build resilience. They learn to adapt, persevere, bounce back from difficulties, and these skills are transferable to real-life situations. In fact, they make our kids strong, super duper strong. If you haven't read it already, my book, Raising Resilient Sons, A Boy Mom's Guide to Raising a Strong, Confident, and Emotionally Intelligent Family, is actually applicable to both boy moms and girl moms, but it's definitely written through the lens of raising boys. You can apply it whether you have all girls, all boys, or a mixture. But within that book, I talk about resilience. Resilience and emotional intelligence is a super strong indicator of future success. When our kids can bounce back from adversity and pick themselves back up and dust themselves off with disappointment after disappointment and keep pushing forward, they're going to be able to conquer anything. I think one of the best things we ever did was get our kids involved in theater. My kids have all faced disappointments. They've all faced not getting parts, and they've all faced getting parts. And so while not all of them are planning on going to study for a BFA in theater like one of my kids is, they all have that experience of auditioning and getting parts, or auditioning and not getting parts, and then picking themselves up and trying something else. And so we want to give them opportunities to adapt, persevere, and bounce back. We want them to be able to transfer that to their regular everyday life. One of the other emotional benefits that play gives our teens is self-expression. It provides a medium for this, allowing our adolescents to explore their identity, preferences, and emotions. They get to figure out who they are politically, emotionally, morally, and they can play with that through conversations, through scenario-based games like table talk, which is a lot of fun to sit around and chat with others about. My kids like to adapt the game Guess Who by being creative with identifying the characters based on potential social and political characteristics. Playing around with that gives them a chance to figure out who they are and how they fit in. Yes, we want our kids to grow morally and strong with the values that we as a family believe in, but we also want them to believe in those morals and those values on their own. And so we want to lay the foundation, and we want to give them opportunities to talk about it, play with ideas, come to conclusions, and back to us being active participants in their play, feel comfortable talking to us about it. And so it gives them a chance to do this in a way that's non-threatening. There are social benefits to play in adolescence as well. Teamwork and collaboration. Many forms of play involve teamwork. It involves collaboration, teaching them really valuable social skills, whether they're playing team sports, involved in a musical or a play, any other kind of group activities. Teens learn to work with others towards a common goal. They collaborate, they share their ideas, and they get to the finished product together. One of my daughter's friends was talking about a play in a day that she just participated in recently, where the kids are all thrown together on a Friday night, and from like 6 to midnight, They get divided up into random groups and assigned random roles like, writer and director and lighting and sound and costuming and acting and stage managing and all the different things. And the writer writes and finishes the script by midnight and emails it to everybody. And by 8 o'clock the next morning or 6 o'clock the next morning, they reconvene and they start blocking it and staging it and memorizing it and building costumes and building sets. And 6 10-minute plays are produced in 24 hours and presented that Saturday night to all of the parents and other audience members. That is incredible. So playful, so collaborative, and something she said just made my heart sing. She said, everything's going to be terrible. We know that. It's not about producing the best play. It's about working together to produce something. We warn our parents and our friends who are coming to see us that there might be a couple jokes that land and there's going to be a lot of jokes that don't land, but it's going to be a fun night just seeing what people came up with. What a great common goal. Have fun, learn something, and try to land a couple jokes. That's great. So many social benefits to that. Kids also learn communication skills. Play fosters this, both verbal and nonverbal communication. Adolescents, teens, tweens learn to express themselves, listen to others, interpret social cues, and all of this contributes to the development of effective communication skills. Kids also learn empathy and perspective taking. Role-playing and imaginative play allows teens to step into different roles and perspectives. This gives them a greater understanding of others, it fosters empathy, it helps them navigate complex social dynamics and develop more meaningful connections with others. It also teaches them conflict resolution skills. Conflicts inevitably arise in play. Our teens can learn to negotiate, compromise, and resolve conflicts constructively, skills that are essential for developing healthy relationships and social interactions as they grow. It can be a powerful, powerful tool in developing those emotional, social, and cognitive benefits, but it can also be incredibly instrumental in reducing stress and fostering resilience in teens because it addresses both physical and emotional aspects of well-being. So some of the ways that play in our teens helps with the physical and emotional aspects of that development of stress reduction and resilience include releasing of endorphins. For stress reduction, when kids play, whether it's through physical activity, sports, creative endeavors, whatever, play triggers the release of endorphins, the body's natural mood enhancers. If you have a kiddo who can be melancholy, who is a doom and gloom kid, who is stressed easily, who worries excessively, who has anxiety, get them playing, get them involved in sports, outside activities, plays, musical theater, something, because all of this triggers endorphins, the release of endorphins, which boost mood naturally. It helps alleviate stress and it contributes to their overall sense of well-being. It's also cathartic. Play provides a safe and expressive outlet for teens to release pent-up emotions and stress. When they engage in activities like art, music, or physical exercise, they are allowed to channel and manage stress in a constructive way. Just think about yourself. It can be very cathartic to just sing in the shower, to go for a walk or a run, to vent to a friend, to play cards and chit-chat over coffee. And it's the same for our kids. So it allows them a safe place to release these pent-up emotions. It's also great for contributing to mindfulness. Play involves being fully present in the moment. It diverts attention from stressors and it promotes mindfulness. Whether they're playing a game or they're participating in enjoyable activities, teens can experience a temporary break from stress, from everyday life, from all the things they need to think about, all of the growing up stuff that goes along with that. And if you've got gifted kids, you know they worry about the future, right? All that's going to happen as they grow. For fostering resilience, play helps our kids face challenges and setbacks like we talked about, whether it's overcoming obstacles in a game or dealing with unexpected turns in imaginative play. Teens learn to face and navigate difficulties. It builds confidence because they're successfully navigating those challenges. It builds a sense of accomplishment in them, which leads to confidence and enforces it. It It gives them positive reinforcement, which contributes to the development of resilience because they learn that they can overcome those obstacles and setbacks. It encourages teens to be adaptable and flexible in their thinking and approach. This helps them cope with those unexpected challenges, both in the context of play and in real life, and offers them social interaction. Whether it's through playing team sports or engaging in group activities, social support and connections formed during play can serve as a protective factor. It enhances resilience by providing a sense of belonging and emotional support. My kids love going to their theater programs or their horse class or their sporting events when they're involved in them because they're engaged in group activities with others who belong in the same place with them, and they feel that sense of belonging. Teens also learn to manage and regulate their emotions like I talked about before, and this helps them cope with those stressors and navigate challenges and challenging situations more effectively. Finally, emotionally and socially, play encourages a balanced lifestyle. It gives them a break from the academic pressure. It provides a healthy stepping away from the pressures that a lot of our teens face. It allows them time to recharge. It reduces the risk of burnout. It enhances overall well-being. When my kids are stressing about what they're going to be when they grow up or what they need to do now to be ready for college, they can step back and forget about it for a while as they become another character through their theater experiences, or forget about it altogether because they're focused on the horse that they're working with in horse classes. It promotes healthy habits because engaging in physical play promotes regular exercise, and they know they need to eat healthier. My daughter recently said, I'd be the last person to pick up a vape or start smoking or something like that. She said, my whole life is built on my instrument of my voice. And if I do something like that, it will exacerbate my asthma and cause my voice to potentially be damaged. And I want to work in theater as I grow. So it would be silly for me to risk that for a temporary good feeling that people talk about getting from using some of those substances. And that is the beauty of being part of something and belonging and having a sense of self-identity through a talent and a playfulness, because theater is play. And then knowing that she needs to take care of herself as well, it helps improve her mood, reduce stress, and give her overall better mental and physical health. It's also a great coping mechanism. Creative play, such as art or imaginative activities like theater, allows kids to express themselves and cope with stress in a constructive way. And this creative outlet can be a valuable tool for emotional resilience. So play contributes to stress reduction. It contributes to resilience, cognitive, emotional, and social benefits. It provides a holistic approach that addresses all of these things in our kids and gives them a dynamic platform with all sorts of open-ended options for learning coping skills, building confidence, and fostering connections, which all will contribute to long-term mental health. So how can we do it? What are some things we can do that are kind of age-appropriate play for teens? So some of the different things that can kind of cater to our teens' evolving interests, cognitive abilities, and social needs are things like board games and strategy games. They can play with their friends or their family. Board games, more complex board games or strategy games that require critical thinking and decision-making. Games like chess, Settlers of Catan, or Risk are great options for this. And it builds that connection and adaptability. Video games are what a lot of kids need and want. They're living in a digital age, and they need to know how to regulate themselves within that. And there are many video games that are age appropriate and balance entertainment and cognitive challenges. Many video games involve problem solving, teamwork, and strategic thinking. And so there's a value to those. Also, for those of you who live far away from other kids their age, it gives them an opportunity to possibly connect in safe areas or safe groups with others like them. And so they develop friendships in this way. My oldest has several friends around the country that he's met through online gaming. And when he was in Virginia for a job recently, he met up with a couple of them. One is going to Virginia Tech, one is going to the University of Virginia. And he met up with them at different times, and they gamed together and went out to dinner and hung out. And so It gives them opportunities to find people like them. Sports and physical activities are great outlets for play for teens. When they participate in sports or physical activities based on personal preferences like soccer, basketball, yoga, or hiking, they not only promote fitness in themselves, but it contributes to stress relief and mental health. You can also help get them involved in or encourage them to get involved in creative arts like painting, drawing, sculpting, or photography. They can express themselves through these various art forms, which fosters creativity and self-discovery and is a form of play. One of my favorites, I've talked about it many times already on this episode, but I talk about it all the time, is music and performing arts. I am not a super musical person. My kids are much more musically inclined than I am. But we can encourage them to join a band, learn to play an instrument, or engage in drama and theater activities. Music and performing arts provides an outlet for self-expression and teamwork and builds resilience in our kids. Role-playing games, RPGs, tabletop role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons promote creativity, teamwork, storytelling, allowing teens to immerse themselves in imaginative worlds. One of my kids also engages in role-playing games via text with friends where they create these dynamic storylines and all contribute their own avatars to it, with one person kind of being the overseer of the world, throwing challenges at the different characters to see how they navigate them. Escape room challenges are great. You can participate with your kids or send them and their friends to real or virtual escape room challenges. These activities require problem-solving skills and teamwork to solve puzzles and escape within a set time frame. Super fun. STEM projects are great. They can dive into science, technology, engineering, and math projects like building robots, conducting experiments, or exploring coding and programming. Outdoor activities like camping, hiking, or biking are great. They provide opportunities for physical exercise and connecting with nature. Gaming tournaments they can get involved in, like board game competitions, video game competitions, esports events, Rubik's cubing. Whether they're in person or online, there's lots of different tournaments they can get involved in and competitive activities. Your kids can play with cooking and culinary exploration. They can experiment with cooking and baking, exploring new recipes, trying out different cuisines from around the world, developing culinary skills in a fun and collaborative way. Your kids can play through books or movies. They can join a book club or a movie watching group. They can discuss literature or film. This fosters critical thinking and social interaction among teens. One of my kids is involved with the Letterboxd app, which allows them to rate different movies based on different attributes and write reviews. And this kid loves sharing their reviews and actually getting very quirky about how they share their reviews and then comparing them with friends. And then they often watch the same movie as their friends so they can compare what they thought about it, and sometimes get together to watch movies together so they can discuss them. Community service projects are great too because you can be playful through volunteer work or projects. It provides a sense of purpose for our kids and social responsibility, opportunities for teamwork. Technology and coding challenges are great too, developing apps, designing websites, participating in hackathons or robotics competitions. These are all great for giving them real-world skills. Social games, icebreakers are great for gatherings, whether they're online or in person. Games that encourage conversation like table talk, teamwork like collaborative games like Pandemic or Codenames, and then they help to allow kids to get to know each other better. When we are fostering this open communication with our teens and playing together so that we can strengthen our relationship, we want to make sure that we create comfortable space for conversations. We want to choose our activities wisely, select activities, or encourage your teen to get involved in activities that they find engaging and they enjoy, whether it's playing a favorite board game, engaging in a shared hobby, or trying something new together. The activity should be appealing to both of you. My 2 teen daughters and I have season tickets to Playhouse Square in Cleveland, where the Broadway touring shows come through. We don't have great seats, but we have seats. And we go about once every 6 weeks and really enjoy the time together. All of us find that enjoyable, and We enjoy critiquing the show afterwards and building those shared experiences together. I encourage you to be open to their ideas and choices too. Allow your teen to take responsibility and take the lead in choosing activities. Empower them. Show them that you value their preferences. This makes them more likely to engage in open communication with you. Also, create a relaxed environment. Play, relax, engage in a comfortable way, in a comfortable place where your teen feels at ease, whether that's at home, in a park, or a theater, any space that they feel comfortable sharing their thoughts and feelings. You want to make sure that they are relaxed. Avoid judgment. During the play, especially when you're doing board games or other competitive things, refrain from being judgmental. Encourage open expression without criticism. This creates an atmosphere where they feel safe sharing their thoughts without fear of judgment. The last thing you want is your kids to say that they're not going to play with you because they know that you are not really someone who likes to lose or whatever. Use play as a conversation starter. Integrate casual conversation into play. For example, ask open-ended questions related to the game or activity because this can naturally lead to more meaningful discussions. Above all, be present and listen actively. Engage with your full attention. Put away distractions such as your phone and be present in the moment. You can't just tell your teen to put away their phone. In fact, I would actually encourage you not to and just put yours away. Even say, hey, I'm going to put my phone up here. Do you want me to put yours up? Oh, okay. No, you don't. That's fine. Lead by example. Actively listen to what your teen is saying. Show genuine interest in their thoughts and feelings. Your teens are cool people. You've raised amazing kids and they're going to be amazing adults. So engage with them right now so they want to engage with you once they leave the house. This is the single best thing you can do to encourage your kids to come back and spend time with you once they're adults. Share your thoughts and feelings. Model open communication by sharing your own thoughts and feelings during play. Being vulnerable can encourage your teens to reciprocate and open up about their own experiences. Respect their boundaries, though. Be mindful of your teen's comfort level and their boundaries. If they're not ready to discuss certain topics, respect that. Focus on the enjoyment of play without pressuring them. Don't share things that they share with you in confidence with others. Be your teen's person. Just like you were their person when they were littler, you want them to trust you. So don't violate that trust. Be patient. Timing matters. Understand that your teen might not always be ready to open up. Understand that your teen might not always want to play with you, but be patient and choose the right timing. Sometimes the best conversations happen organically during play, and sometimes your teen just wants to be left alone. So make sure that you let them know that when they're feeling up for it, you'd love to play with them or you'd love to hang out with them and just be there when they're there. I read somewhere that teens, they open up, they get their best time for conversations. You know, you're up with little ones super early in the morning or throughout the night, but you're up with your teens late into the night because they've kind of wound down from the day and everything's bouncing around their brain, and that might be the time that they want to talk or engage with you. Encourage problem solving in play. Engage your teens in activities that involve problem solving. This stimulates cognitive skills and provides opportunities to discuss real life challenges and potential solutions. And so it's just another way to be more communicative with them. Express your unconditional support and love. Your teens need to know that they have a supporting and non-judgmental ally so that they're comfortable sharing their thoughts and concerns when they have them. And you want to celebrate their achievements and their efforts. Acknowledge and celebrate both big and small achievements during play. This positive reinforcement boosts your teen's confidence and creates a positive atmosphere for communication. The key to making play enjoyable and stress-free is to make it an experience that your kids want to engage in. Integrate open communication, create a natural and comfortable space for your teen to express themselves, and be quietly unassuming and boundary respecting. And your kids are going to continue to come to you when they need to. Plus, they're going to be more resilient, more cognitive, they're going to be more academically inclined, and they're going to be happier because they've engaged in play. Play is important throughout your kid's entire life. So make sure that you are starting young and continuing all the way through. When your kids are older, When your kids are younger, be playful. Be open-minded and communicative so they can do the same for you, and give them lots and lots of opportunities in age-appropriate ways to engage in play and mess around and be creative. This is the best way you can build a relationship with your kids that lasts long into their adulthood and helps them to become strong, confident, and emotionally resilient. You've got this. This is fun. Enjoy and play with them. You are a great parent raising incredible kids and doing it all while homeschooling. It's amazing. You've got this, and I'm here to help. We'll have loads of resources and links over in the show notes for this episode at raising.com/podcast. And you can click through those. You can write to me. You can reach out through the contact form on the show notes as well. I'd love to hear from you. How do you engage and play with your teens and tweens? And remember to give a special shout out or thanks to CTC Math and Night Zookeeper for sponsoring this episode. Highly recommend you check them out. CTC Math is hands down the best math program you can get for your growing family. It is so cost effective, it is user friendly, and it goes from K to grade 12 and can support you all the way through. Night Zookeeper is super fun, great for kids roughly 8 to 12, and will foster language arts in a fun game-like environment. You've got this, homeschool mom. You do. Your kids are so lucky to have you. I'm so proud of you. I'll be back here same time, same place next week with a fabulous interview of another homeschool mom who is just great, and you need to follow her. So come back next week for the next episode, and I'll see you then. In the meantime, have a great week with your kids. I appreciate you so much. Share this episode with anybody you think can benefit from it, and I will talk to you soon. Bye for now.